Hey YouTube, I'm going to be showing you guys how to replace the thermostat in a 2002 Ford Ranger. It's a 3.0 6-cylinder. Pretty much showing you that pretty much anybody can change one of these out. You don't have to be a mechanic to do this. I don't really know how to do anything to my truck besides change the oil and change the brakes and rotate tires. I mean, not too savvy when it comes to mechanical issues with my vehicles. It's pretty basic. All you're going to need really is a flathead, pair of pliers. You're going to need a, I believe this is a 10mm socket and a 5/16 socket as well. I'm going to be pausing it as it goes through, so that's why the video is going to be skipping ahead. But you start off with just getting pretty much your, you have to get this cap out of the way, so we're just going to loosen this up all the way, get this unscrewed. That's going to be for your 5/16. Then you're going to go over here to the clamps for your get this off a little bit. You have to loosen up these clamps, and this is going to be going to this for your air. You're also going to have to disconnect this. Sorry, I disconnected it before. This goes to your hose as well. You pretty much just take this off. This is for your air filter. Just set that off to the side for right now. Basically, where it's located, it's kind of hard to see, but it's going to be where the thermostat is located. It's right there. You can see the blue down there. See, I've already changed mine out, but it's still leaking because the seal on it's bad. I'll be showing you here in a second how to fix that. So you just pull this right off. Okay, now here's where this clamp right here, or here's where these pliers right here come into play. When you're squeezing these clamps right here, it's really hard to squeeze it and also pull it back. So you want to set this basically to where it clamps it down and it holds by itself, so that allows you to see. I don't have to hold that at all, and then I could shimmy it on up, or just kind of try to pull the hose straight off. Sorry, I'm doing this with one hand, so it's a little bit more difficult, but see how easy that was to come off. And then as soon as you pull that clamp, you want to make sure that you release it so that it doesn't make it to where the clamp is too loose. Then it's not really doing anything, kind of defeats the purpose. Just pull this hose off to the side a little bit, and you can see right here, this is where your coolant's going to go down into. And basically once I pull this off, it's going to allow me access to the actual thermostat itself. That's where your 10mm socket comes into play. It's most likely if your vehicle is really hot, it's expanded a lot, the size of the nut, so it's going to be the threads at least, so it's going to be really hard to get out. So just a good way to do it is just to pour some cold water on it. That's where I was having problems, and these are pretty long nuts, so once you get them loose, you pretty much just swap to the next one. It's a little bit hard to get to. I'm gonna go and pause it now until I get this off, but it's basically just there's one nut right there, and then there's gonna be one more back here on the complete opposite side. Alright, we're back, and I just pulled it off, and so basically what I found out, because I just replaced this last night, is that basically here's the part right here, and you can see there's a little bit of a gap right there, and that's where sorry, my camera's trying to focus right now, and that's where sorry, I'm having problems with it. That's basically why it's leaking. So very important note, when you actually put this in, when you put the I forget what it's called, it starts with G, but when you put this blue piece in, basically you have to make sure that it sits on there pretty flush to where when you put your thermostat back on, the thermostat completely covers it, because basically I could shift it all the way over and you can see how much of a gap there is. You don't want that gap at all. So you want to make sure that it's pretty centered. You can see the marks where it was. What I'm gonna do is, you see all that gunk down there? on the black stuff here. Let me set this down. All this black gunk right here that's around the rim, well, that was from the I believe it's called a gasket, basically the rubber seal that goes around the rim. If there's anything right there, I was told that basically it's not gonna seal properly. So I'm gonna show you here. Let me just go grab the tool. I'll show you the way to fix that without damaging it, because you definitely don't want to take a chisel to it, because if you take a chisel or a flathead or anything, you could possibly damage this right here and put some gouges in it, and at that point it's not really fixable. You just get an extremely big headache at that point. So give me just 1 second to go grab it. Okay, this is the tool that you use to clean it off with. It's basically just a wire tip brush that you can put on any corded or cordless drill. Basically, this allows it to where you just get all the gunk off without actually harming the casing. You really want to get all that stuff off, and it's really good to do it when your engine's cool, because you can see that down there's no liquid. Normally there'll be coolant in there, but basically if any of the debris falls off into there, you can pretty much just pick it out by hand, so you don't have to worry about it circulating through your engine. I'm gonna go and clean this one off just a little bit, because I didn't get all of it last night apparently. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it all off. I'm gonna pause the video here. I'll get back with you guys here in a second. Alright, we're back. That literally took me probably all of 20 seconds to do. The video really wasn't even paused for long. You can see how clean it is now. That way that you know that you get a real nice tight seal. I didn't get any of the rubber seal inside that I could see. As long as there's not too much in there, it shouldn't really affect it. But now comes the point where you just basically put everything back together. I'll try to show you how to do that real quick. Okay, so you're gonna have your seal right here. You're just gonna set that down on top to where it lines up pretty nice. Make sure that it's pretty square everywhere. Like I said, my problem was I didn't set it on there square enough, so that's why I'm doing this a second time, and I guess making a video so it's a little bit easier. I couldn't really find any videos that were very helpful, so it's better than spending like $200 to get it fixed at a mechanic too. So right now it looks like it's sitting on there pretty good. I'm just gonna adjust it just a little bit. I don't know why they don't make these things. I don't know why they don't make these a little bit wider, so you don't have to stress this a whole bunch, but it's kind of dumb. Alright, so it looks like it's covering pretty well. So at this point, you basically just take this piece back, and I'm just going to go ahead and toss it back on there. You screw both of the bolts back in there, and then at that point, once you screw both of those in there, then you could just put your hose back on. You pretty much just put everything back together. I mean, so far you can see the video's at 8:45. I've probably been working on this for about 10 minutes. It's not really a long project at all. Give me just 1 second. I'm gonna go and pause it, start getting everything put back together. I'm gonna check to make sure there's no other leaks or anything while I'm at it in here. So, all right, so I just got this back on. Important tip for this is when you're screwing these bolts on, from what my stepfather has told me and what everyone else has told me, really, is you just want to use a small socket wrench like this, and they said that you just want to pretty much get it as tight as you can do by hand. If you're I'm only 180 pounds, 6'2", so I'm not some big guy. I mean, I'm in pretty good shape, but I cranked it as tight as I could go, and that's as far as I went. I didn't try pushing it any farther once I couldn't really twist it any further. The reason being is because you'll crack the housing down there, and then once you do that, you're screwed. You have probably about $1,000 fix on your hand, and then at that point a mechanic has to step in. So just make sure that you don't put it too tight. Don't use power, air gun for this or anything like that. Just do it by hand with something like this.
just get it pretty much as tight as you can get it. Just don't overdo it. If you're a big dude, just don't overdo it, because you'll crack it, and then you'll be screwed at that point. So basically right now I'm going to connect this hose back. As soon as I get this back on, I'm going to put everything back together, put the air filter hose on. I'm just going to put everything back together. I'm not going to put this plastic thing back on. It's kind of useless. Doesn't really do anything. Just kind of prevents you from seeing down into your engine, so I'm not going to put that on. But anyways, I'm going to go and put everything back together right now, and then take it out for a little test drive, and hopefully my leak's gone. But that's pretty much how you change this thing. I mean, I'm sure you guys can remember how to do that, how to put it back together. Basically, you just take your clamp, and you take this clamp right here, and you put this back on. You just clamp it down and shove it back on there. Make sure the clamp sits in the same spot it was before. Then you're just gonna reconnect this hose. Make sure that it goes the right way. It's pretty self-explanatory at this point, guys. I wish you the best of luck. If you have any questions, I'm no mechanic, but at the same time, I did kind of figure this out by myself. So hopefully, like I said, my leak is gone now. So good luck on your projects. Thank you for watching.